are big on washing their hair every day, but I don't do that because to me, I just think that's too much. I mean, I have gone back to a once a week washing schedule, which to me, that meets my needs more than anything else. So after, I just put a big towel in my hair. That's it. I don't need anything more than that. And now I want my tingling spray. I'm gonna start just spraying that throughout my hair. I used a lot of conditioner, of course. I did oil my roots last night with Yves Rocher coconut oil, and I added some rosemary oil. You know, maybe there is something to rosemary oil because this is the weirdest. Okay, I'm part Syrian Lebanese, so people with Syrian Lebanese background, we tend to grow a lot of like facial hair where I have to pluck it. It's better than it used to be, but when I was younger, I used to have to pluck a lot here, and I still need to do more plucking. I always pluck my hair. I don't shave it because I know they say, oh, it doesn't come back thicker, but I feel like plucking it just makes it less noticeable. I haven't been as good about like plucking hair on my face lately, but you know, I do it when I have time. Like if I'm bored or something, I'll just pluck some hairs on my chin. The one thing I've noticed is my underarm hair, it's thick. And it grows in like 2 days, and it's like half a centimeter. No, it's like a centimeter really. And I'm like, in a day? And I've been wondering about that, and I think a lot of it has to do with like genetics, but also I tend to use natural deodorants. So I have several different natural deodorants. I have this one that's unscented. This one's probably better that's unscented. Does it have rosemary in this one though? Let me look. I'm looking at the ingredients on this one. This one has coriander. This one doesn't have rosemary. I mean, my arm hair always grows pretty fast, but I've noticed that when I use this one with the rosemary, I think that it's just in there to make it smell good, but it has like rosemary essential oil. And then this one also, this one doesn't have, it says that it does, but I'm looking at the ingredients and this one doesn't have it. But I feel like something about this one is making the hair under my arms grow even faster, which I have to shave like every single day. But maybe that's just my imagination. But I do think there is something to rosemary oil. I know people are like, oh, there's nothing to rosemary oil. It's just it's a made up thing. It's not really real. And I'm like, I feel like it is. Okay, so this is the one that was not diluted, the spray that was not diluted. But I kind of want to use up the other one too, so I'm gonna take the other one out as well and just like spraying it through my hair to kind of. Before I comb out my hair, I like to try and finger detangle my hair as much as possible. Get out. I think I need more because this one's more concentrated. no. I need to detangle more. I want to hit the finger detangling before I go into detangle mode, you know? So I feel like a lot of the time, if you just do separation first, and yes, I spend time on combing out my hair. Some people don't, but I spend mega amounts of time on it. Like I just kind of want to start getting more separated. I use a boatload with this stuff, okay? I've been sad because I haven't seen it again at Mr. Dollar Tree. But I'm thinking maybe next time I'm going to try a different kind of spray. Like people have been talking about the Power Stick one, but I don't really know if that one's a good detangler. But this one has been a great detangler. That's why I love this one so much, because it has one job. I feel like I could have detangled better. Don't fall down there. I put a towel on the floor and then I like figure skate with it because it gets the floor wet, and it kind of dries up your floor or cleans your floor a bit. Multi-purpose. Detangle your hair and clean your bathroom floor a bit once. Okay, yes, I have wavy hair. A lot of people are into wavy hair routines where they scrunch their hair. And I think that's really beautiful, but I've never done that with my hair. Like when my hair was shorter after I cut it 3 years ago, I was just letting it air dry and the waves really came out and it had a little tubey waviness to it and I embraced it. I did try scrunching once, but even then I was still brushing out my hair and just then letting it dry and let it do its thing. So my purpose for having long hair is not to like sometimes I do wear it loose, but I don't intentionally like scrunch my hair. Because to me, I don't want to do that. Like that, I bought all the products to do that and I did it once and yeah, I didn't even follow the technique that most people do and it's just too sticky and heavy for me. It's not, I don't like it. Like if you like having lots of products in your hair, then you should do that. But I just didn't find that I loved it. And honestly, I don't wear my hair loose. I like my hair, like even when my hair was a little bit shorter, I was wearing it in the low pony, which was nice. Kind of let the curliness show through. I mean, at first when it was shoulder length, around shoulder length, that kind of was giving me heebie-jeebies because it was loose and going everywhere. So I'd kind of braid it down the sides because I like to have my hair just more contained when I'm out in public because I don't like it to go everywhere. Like, it's just my preference, you know? Some people love their hair going all over the place. I personally just don't love it. Okay. Let's start working on the other side. So we got part of this. It's pretty good. And we need to do another section. I'm gonna definitely spray. So I've gone a couple days without brushing out my hair before washing it, which I don't mind actually because I kept it in a braid for a couple days. That's actually something I kind of love to do. And deeply in my hair when I get that out. Odor it back. Some more spray. By the way, I've been getting people that have been advertising in my email again with the same template saying that they want to promote my channel. It's just not going to ever happen. And I don't believe them because they keep using the same form template. So there's no way I would trust you guys. I don't trust anybody. I'm a DIY girly. DIY to the supermax. So yeah, I'm not hiring any of you guys. I used to try and explain that to them, and then one of them responded, and they were just very desperate housewifey, sending me like blurred out images of all these people they supposedly helped. And then I was curious, okay? It really, I wasn't gonna pay them, okay? But it really drew my curiosity. So I looked up some reviews on YouTube from people that supposedly use those services to bolster their channel. One lady said it actually made her lose views because whatever this service did, like her videos weren't getting as many views, which was weird. But I'm just being transparent girly, okay? I am me to the end of time. I'm not a movie star. I'm a long hair woman who likes to share the beauty of long hair. And I'm not gonna pay you to promote my channel. So just stop it, guys. You're like desperate. Like, I'm not paying you. I'm not gonna. And another thing is, yeah, I wouldn't trust you. I wouldn't trust you. I don't trust anybody I don't know in person. Like, I'm very, very, very distrustful of people in general. And everybody should be. You shouldn't just trust people because guess what? Guess what? Okay. Americans get scammed abroad, but Americans love to scam in the US. Oh, yes. I don't usually do spilling the tea culture, but I want to spill the tea on this. If you're visiting LAX, don't talk to anybody. Go quiet on your western front and back end and do not talk to people because it's scam artist central. Like, I've even had people as an American who tried to scam me. Who must have thought I was really stupid or something. Like, I remember when I was like 21, I went to this mall that's been destroyed. It's no longer there. It's called Carousel Mall. And there was this guy, and he had a calling card because back in the early 2000s, people used calling cards. Like, I didn't have a cell phone yet, but a lot of people would use calling cards because instead of having to put change in a phone, oh, that's good. You're going into the military? Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that you were planning on doing that. I thought you were gonna be doing kickboxing or something, or security. I didn't know that you were doing that. Very cool. I mean, it's a good career, probably. But anyway, okay. Scam artist dude. Yeah. I have a calling card to, like, Costa Rica and all these places. And I said, I don't know anybody in Costa Rica. He goes, oh, but you could use it anywhere. I'm like, no. I told this guy, no, I'm not paying for your calling card. It was probably just a piece of plastic. And he wanted me to give him like $20. I'm like, no. So I don't know what the scams are these days, but anytime you go to a big city, just talk to the people. It's like, I'm not trying to be rude. You can say hi to someone, but keep walking. Because, yeah, I just don't trust people. Like, especially people that send me templates about how to promote my channel more. I'm like, you guys are desperate housewives. Like, does that work? I'm sure, like, there's a lot of people that really want to grow their channel, and they're going to pay this person, like, I don't know how much. Maybe that gets some short-term views for some people, but I saw the reviews of these services, and people said, actually, it wasn't good. Oh, wow. That's very cool. Well, good for you. I'm glad that's working out. I mean, I don't know about the U.S. Like, I guess they might have religious exemption. Like, I haven't ever looked into that. It's been a long time. Towards the end of my dad being in the Air Force, though, and this was in the 70s, and they were very strict, like, if you were deployed and all that. But if you were just working at office, I guess he was using dippity-doo. And he was, like, slicking his hair back because he wanted to grow his hair out. And he was, like, hiding it under a hat. But this was, like, towards the end. This is when he was doing more, like, office work, like, as an electrician on an Air Force base. So, yeah, not when he was stationed in Thailand during Vietnam War, then yeah, they all had to have short hair. But I don't know nowadays, like maybe the U.S. has this religious exemption too, like for military service. I haven't looked into it. Might be a thing, I don't know. I'm guessing it is, right? Well, I hope you can keep your hair longer, but maybe like if you're just gonna be in for let's say 4 years, you could do what my dad did, where yeah, he didn't like. Well, he had shorter hair growing up, but I think like he wanted to start growing his hair longer. So like towards the end, because I think how long he was in for 6 years, but I don't know if you want to be a career military person. Like I'm not sure what route you're taking for this. I love Turkish detangling spray. They're like the day. Yeah, this stuff is life changing. My sister said, I love the Turkish detangling spray. This was a few months ago, and I'm like, what are we talking about? What is that? It's a Dollar Tree thing, and we never found it again. And I mean, it's marketed for the Dollar Tree, but it's made in Turkey, so I just call it the Turkish detangling spray. I guess it's like a dupe for Johnson's & Johnson's like baby detangling spray. I don't know what it's a dupe for, but all I know is I don't have knots on my hair when I comb it out anymore. I'm like, whatever this thing does, and I don't know, I just really like it. I really want to find more, but I feel like it's one of those things that shows up and then disappears. I'll probably just have to move on to another thing once I've used it up. I watered down this bottle of it because she was like, I want more of it. I'm like, we were looking for it again. I should have bought it all up when I was there that day. I just didn't want to be a detangling spray hoarder. I was going to buy like 5 more bottles of it. But this thing is good. I can't. I used to, because I remember in the past, like, but I think also another thing that helps is I switched back over to Garnier conditioner. I will never try certain conditioners again. I think you have to spend a little bit more on conditioner and shampoo. I'm not saying like cheap, but even then when I was just using a little bit more, and it's not expensive, it's just like drugstore stuff, but I will never try like VO5. Like back in the days, I used to love VO5, but I was probably using a lot more oil back then. But to be honest with you, I was struggling with tangles more too. This stuff really is a game changer. It's so nice. I love it a lot. Anyway, and I think I used to buy Kiddo detangling spray sometimes and oil. I have so many things that I need to detangle my hair with. I mean, there's probably more things I want. So I have to comb out my hair. I'm not scrunching it, you know. Some people get really mad about that, but I'm not even friends. I'm just trying to make sure it's completely combed out for the best that I want it. It has. I'm so happy with my hair growing. I'm like, oh, I'm so happy. I wanted to do henna again, but I ran out of time. Because henna is, it's not expensive. It's time consuming and messy, and just I need to schedule my time better, I guess. Over the weekend, I I just was pushing myself so hard, so by the time Sunday hit, I just wasn't feeling it. I don't take days off, friends, so I just really, I try to push myself during the week, but Sunday, I kind of felt it. Oh, and I still had to go places, because I had to go shopping with my sister, so it's not like, and then I didn't go anywhere yesterday. I'm like, I'm supposed to be more petty, more doing things, because I like to go. I try it all the time, but yesterday I was just not being able to do it. I've never done box braids just because I feel like I would need someone to do them. Like, I'm not sure how it would look if I did it. Like, if I went to somebody who did it, I'd be willing to try it. I just don't feel like I would do them the right way. Like, I like to braid my hair. I just don't feel like I would do them in a way that would maybe look the best. So I kind of leave that to people. Like, maybe one day I'll try it. We'll see. I mean, I'm curious. I do have a curiosity about it. Okay, so that's my results. Here. I'm gonna let it dry a tiny bit, but then I need to braid it up, get going. But yeah, that was fun. My dad was born here. His grandpa was born first generation. Like, he was the one that was first generation speaking Arabic, not my dad. So I'm like third. He's second. My grandpa's first. And then my other ancestry is very English. It's very English because I was looking at Ancestry DNA. So, like, on Ancestry DNA, my top results are England, Levant, which is Syria, Lebanon, and then other European regions after that in smaller numbers. But yeah. I know some people say Lebanon, but I always say Syria just because when I was little, they always said Syrian, okay? And I looked at my DNA, and yes, like, it's very heavily Lebanon focused, but my immediate ancestors were living in Al-Shara, Syria. Like, they moved across to, like, plus it was called Greater Syria, so for some reason, like, some people get really mad at me, and they're like, why don't you call yourself, like, Lebanese? Like, technically, it is, like, I have second great grandparents born in Lebanon, which is crazy sauce, applesauce, when you think about this, because I'm a descendant of people that waited a long time to have children, or was, like, the last born. Like, I have a second great grandparent that was, like, almost 72 when he had a child. Like, I think he had another wife previously, but then, I mean, I don't know who that was because we were just doing the family tree. But yeah, he had a child when he was, like, almost 72. And somebody's like, is that accurate? And I think it is. And it's weird on my mom's side too, because I tend to, like, my grandpa had children when he was younger, but when he had my mom, he was like 40. So it's weird, like, going back on all my sides, I tend to be the descendant of people that had children a little bit older. So, like, I literally have second great grandparents that were born in what is modern day Lebanon, but it's weird, okay, because it was all called Greater Syria back then, and they weren't nation states. So I don't know, people kind of nitpick about the terminology, but to me it's just more Syrian than Lebanese, even though I do have, like, what you consider, like, a Lebanese ethnic component, but I consider it more Syrian because my great grandparents were born in Syria, what is modern day Syria. So for me, it just makes more sense to consider myself part Syrian. And they had ties to Damascus. Everybody had ties to Damascus. Like, it was all called Greater Syria back then, you know. But because of the ages people had children, they were born in the early 1900s, okay? It gives you a conception, you know? And they had children younger, but my grandpa was a little bit older when he had his kids, and then my parents were in their 20s, so like, and my grandpa on my mom's side, it's interesting. So like, some people are like 5 generations at my age going back, and I'm just 3. So yeah, and it's weird because a lot of the Syrians that started intermarrying with just like European American people, they just kept intermarrying that way. I don't know. And I feel like some people stayed in the culture. They stayed very Syrian. My grandpa, I don't know why he lost, like, you know, he felt very Syrian at the end of his life. But his wife was kind of anti-Syrian, which I hate. Like, why? Why did you marry a Syrian if you're anti-Syrian? He said later in life, like, he wanted to be Syrian again. And that's what triggered my interest in it. And I was, like, the only one. And my dad loved his grandma and her cooking. And he was very tied to that. But the younger siblings, they just weren't that interested. They didn't care. I think they talk about it occasionally. But we talked about it more just because of my dad and my grandpa, and me talking to my grandpa and him saying that I was the only one that cared or was interested or fascinated, because yeah, it was just sad. It doesn't make waves because I'm like brushing it out. Look at this. It's like really brushed out. There are some waves to it actually. It's really brushed out. That's why. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. Some people stay in their culture more. I have just learned to want to know more about my Syrian roots, because I felt like some of that knowledge was lost, and those are things I can never really know. Just because, I mean, I know things my dad told me, I know things my grandpa told me, but also, I had a neighbor, she was half Syrian, and she was born in Argentina, and she was very, like, she was loving the Syrian culture, so these conversations kept this alive in my head. But the sad thing is, my siblings, they just don't care. My uncles and aunts, they don't care. They're not interested in, except in passing. Like, I had more fascination in it and interest in it than they did. I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, that's my story. Cousin in Germany, he's really into genealogy, so I tend, like, my immediate family, they have like zero interest, but then I'll always meet like a third cousin. So my third cousin in Germany, he's an interesting guy. Okay, so he's half Syrian, half German, and I had a cousin, third, fourth cousin, when I started doing genealogy, told him a lie and said that my great aunt was his mother. And I'm like, that's impossible. Like, I had to talk to him. I said, look, like, we weren't even matching on the DNA test. He matches as a third cousin to my aunts and stuff. And I said, I see that you're matching, because this is the weird thing when you take the DNA test. Like, past second cousin, some people you just don't match. But I definitely know he is like my third cousin, because he matches my aunt, he matches my cousins, and like, we looked at our results and we looked at our common, like, so we were able to determine, like, yeah, we had like common matches in common, and this has happened on my mom's side too. But he finally figured out who his dad was, but this cousin, like, when I first started doing genealogy, lied to him, because he was big on genealogy too, and he lied to him and said my great aunt was his mom, and that I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Or maybe it was his grandma? Oh, his grandma, I think. But that his son was stationed in Germany, and I'm like, lied. You lied. Oh, I was livid. this guy. And that's interesting why I don't really trust people really, because this guy, you know, we're just doing common genealogy, and we had a common cousin because his first cousin had moved to the U.S. and her brother was like devastated because he had lost connection with her for like 50 years. And I had like a third cousin who that was like his grandma, and I somehow was facilitating all this. And he lied about this guy, this third cousin, that's my German cousin, being like my first cousin. I'd be like, that would make us almost first or second cousin, and we don't connect like that. And it was such a lie. It annoyed me so much. But anyway, this guy he finally found out who his real dad was, and he's really amazing at genealogy. Like he writes about it, I think he was an actor in Germany too. He's an interesting guy. I guess he thought that this Lebanese man was his father, like his mother's German, and she had married another guy after having a child with the dad, who wasn't in the military. He was just some business guy, turned out. But yeah, he found out who he was, like who his father was. So genealogy is really interesting and whatnot. Yeah, this guy really knows a lot about genealogy. Like he does a whole website about it. It's kind of cool. So it's always more distant relatives that know more about things. What kind of a message is this? Okay. I need to think about the time too. I feel like it's pretty cooled out. I think it's pretty good, but I might go over it one more time just to make sure. Like, I just want to make sure it's fully cooled out. 6:35. That's later than I was wanting. These are my results. Thanks for watching.